Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Aligned to the Truth Tuesday. For those of you who are not familiar, my name is Danielle Gray. I am a mindset and manifestation coach, transformational teacher, and spiritual mentor, elevating you to align with your highest and best self so that you can manifest a life you love. Welcome back. If you're catching me live, I would love for you to say hi and let me know where you're watching from. If you're catching the replay, I would love a hashtag replay so I know who's tuning in when. And if you are catching the replay on YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I want to let you know and invite you that I want to let you know that I record these videos live inside my private Facebook group every single Tuesday, normally at 10 a.m. Today it's at 12:30 because my son has his last half day of kindergarten gradual entry today. Tomorrow he's a full-time kindergarten student and I can't believe it. It's crazy. But anyway, you're more than welcome to come and join me inside my private Facebook group. I will leave the link below in the description. And if you're listening on the podcast as well, you're more than welcome to come and join me, hang out in my Facebook group. We do these lives every Tuesday. We also have theme days throughout the week. We do daily affirmations. I actually have a free workshop coming up that I'm going to be doing inside the free group. So I would love to have you join us there. Please and thank you. And if you're catching the replay on YouTube, I would absolutely love it if you would hit the little thumbs up like button so that we can boost the video up the little algorithm so that more people are able to find the information that they need when it is aligned for them. And while you're down there, you might as well hit the subscribe button. And then there's a little bell notification you can hit so that you are made aware when a new video is available. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you so much again for tuning in. I hope that you love it. And I would love to ask you to please subscribe to the podcast, excuse me, so that you are also notified when there's a new episode. I would love it so much. Thank you guys for hopping on live with me. I am so happy. So today, I want to talk about something that is very pressing. It applies to everyone, no matter where you are in your journey. It never stops. And that is limiting beliefs and upper limit behaviors. Okay. This conversation is actually sparked by this book, The Big Leap. If you guys have not read it, I highly recommend. By the way, these are unexpected checks in the mail that I'm using as bookmarks because why the heck not, right? So just FYI, I want to just kind of kick things off to let you know this book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, is absolutely life changing. Okay. I read it once just a few weeks ago, and I immediately knew that it needed to be our next Watch the Magic Unfold book club book because the magic that this book holds is absolutely incredible. In our little book club, we did start, we kicked it off. We introduced it to the Alignment U clients first to see if the idea was worthwhile, if the discussions were going to be uplifting, and if it was something, I kind of was testing it, right? Let's just be honest. I was testing it. And we did The Greatest Secret, and it was absolutely the book itself, The Greatest Secret, the book itself is absolutely incredible. The messages in the book are absolutely phenomenal. And because my BFF Teresa and I both started our spiritual journeys by reading The Secret at very different times, we thought it was only appropriate that we started our book club journey together with The Greatest Secret. So the next book is going to be The Big Leap because it not only jumps off of what's in The Greatest Secret so nicely for the clients already in Alignment U, because of course they get access to anything I create while they are in the program. But also this book touches on so many important things, and I want to touch on them today with you guys, which is limiting beliefs and upper limiting behaviors. And The Big Leap is basically, if I could sum it up very quickly, it's talking about how most of us are living and operating from our zone of excellence, which is fine and everything, but it's not where we shine the brightest, but it is where the people around us are the most comfortable for us to be, right? We're the most reliable. We're bringing in the steady paychecks. We're dependable at that point. Whereas when you step into your zone of genius, which is the big leap from your zone of excellence to your zone of genius, when you make that leap, things become a little bit more up in the air, right? Nothing is guaranteed. We start to outsource things that we don't want to do that are not in our zone of genius. And things start to shift, right? People around us may not be really aware of how they fit into our lives anymore. And a lot of what this book talks about too is when we are making that leap into our zone of genius, how we hit upper our upper limits, right? Our glass ceilings that we create for ourselves. So I really wanted to talk about that today, not only to invite you to join us in the Big Leap Book Club, which I will leave a link for in the description below, but also I just wanted to touch on it for everybody because it's so important. Limiting beliefs never stop. I actually had one of my clients in her, we do weekly accountability inside my Alignment U program. And she was saying that she was kind of frustrated because she's still hitting limiting beliefs. And I said, look, that's never going to stop. Like, the limiting beliefs do not stop. Every new manifestation you're going for, every new goal, every new chapter in your life is going to come with its own limiting beliefs and its own, glass ceilings, and you are going to exhibit different upper limiting behaviors. So it's important for you to recognize when you are hitting an upper limit, when you are hitting a glass ceiling, and when you are self-sabotaging because of some limiting belief that you have been carrying around, right? You guys have heard me talk about limiting beliefs quite a bit, right? Limiting beliefs they can be debilitating because until we question them, fully believe that these are our truths, right? Fully believe that they're truths. So I sent out a text message yesterday, and I asked everybody to let me know what their most pressing limiting beliefs were. Like, if this one thing was solved or removed or dissolved or whatever in your life, you feel that if that was taken care of, everything else would fall into place. Okay. So that's what I wanted to touch on. I wanted to touch on first a couple of those limiting beliefs, because I then put those limiting beliefs into a poll inside this group to ask who else is struggling or dealing with these kinds of limiting beliefs for a couple of reasons. One, because it helps me, identify which ones are the most pressing, but also so you guys understand that you're not alone. You're not the only one struggling with not enoughness. You're not the only one struggling with, oh my God, there's not enough hours in the day. Those are very common limiting beliefs that, because we believe in them, they stick around. Right? But the beautiful thing about doing this work is, as soon as you can identify something as a limiting belief and you realize and question and think, okay, well, wait a minute, that's not ultimately true. So it can't be the truth. This is just a belief. And if it's just a belief, I can just choose to believe something else. Right? And a belief, let's back up for a second. A belief is only a thought that you've thought over and over and over again enough times that it's now solidified itself as a belief. So for example, my dad has this belief that people who wear hats are bad drivers. Like, the hat somehow makes you a bad driver or something. Like, it, I don't know, blocks your field of view or something. So now, anytime he sees somebody in traffic who's driving erratically or irresponsibly or in whatever way that he doesn't feel is correct, if they are wearing a hat, he goes, see, people who wear hats are terrible drivers. And so he continues to back up his belief that people who wear hats are bad drivers, for example. That's a totally off to the side example, but I want you to know that we have these kinds of limiting beliefs around many things, not just about things we're trying to manifest or goals we're trying to reach, right? And ultimately what's happening is, every time you think this thought and it starts to solidify as a belief, you're actually building a neural pathway in your brain. And so every time you reinforce that belief or that thought, the neural pathway gets stronger and thicker and more solidified, right? So if you've been focusing on these limiting beliefs, like, I'm not enough, or I don't have enough time in the day, there is not enough hours in the day to get everything I need to get done. If that is something you think often, chances are it's solidified as a belief. And now every time you do think about it, you are solidifying that neural pathway. Whereas if you would question those beliefs and realize, okay, that's not actually true, that's just a belief that I have, and I'd actually rather believe this, and you start to shift your focus away from the limiting belief and put your focus now on the more empowering belief. Now, not only do you diminish the neural pathway on this limiting belief, but you're also building a new neural pathway to the more empowering belief. And if you repeat that thought more often, that becomes a belief and an expectation, and it becomes true, which is why a lot of the manifesting gurus will preach that affirmations and mantras and whatnot are the way to go. And I definitely believe that they have a place. I definitely believe that affirmations are important. I repeat my own affirmations all the time. And definitely, by the way, out loud is way more powerful than in your head or even writing them down. But obviously, repeating any affirmation is better than not repeating any at all. That being said, though, affirmations are only part of the work, right? You cannot just affirm what you would rather believe without doing the other work. And some people will disagree with me, and that's totally fine, but I'm telling you that that's the way that it is. And anybody who is using only affirmations to reprogram their mind, and they are only, essentially people who are only using affirmations to instill a new belief are ultimately trying to manifest something, and they're using manifestation as a band-aid solution, where if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that that's not the way that I work, right? Manifesting is fine and good and very excellent. And trust me, I'm manifesting my share of things as well. But I've come to the realization that manifesting the things and focusing only on manifesting the things is solely a band-aid solution, and it does not solve any of the more deep-rooted, quote unquote, issues. I don't really want to call them issues, but if you have a deep-seated belief that you're not worthy of money, it does not matter how many affirmations you repeat. You will always believe you're not worthy of money until you are willing to see that as a limiting belief. Not only see it, but you have to consciously go and be willing to dig that up. You would have to get to a point where you're looking at your bank account and thinking, my God, like I've never been able to have a balance of over X dollars. What is going on? And then as you become willing to uncover the limiting beliefs, they will start to be shown to you. And there's a lot of ways that can happen, but sometimes it is just a realization, oh my God, I don't feel worthy of having money. Right? And it doesn't matter, like I say, how many affirmations you try to affirm that says I am worthy of money. If you're not willing to undo the limiting beliefs that created the scenario where you don't ever have enough money or you're not worthy of money, you will continue to have the same experience, right? So when we start to uncover the limiting beliefs, literally all you have to do is, okay, this is probably the best practice I have ever come across. And it branches off of something that I actually learned from Amanda Francis, who is amazing. So basically, you want to decide what it is you're manifesting, what your goals are, what you're working towards, whatever. Obviously, you can go looking for limiting beliefs no matter what's going on. You don't have to be manifesting something actively to go looking for limiting beliefs. But the problem is, most of us are not willing to go and do that digging and the uncovering and the reprogramming and all of that if there's not a big enough why behind what you're doing, which is why I'm always saying, make sure that you're very clear on what you're manifesting and why, so that when you come up against limiting beliefs and upper limit behaviors and glass ceilings and all of that, self-sabotage behavior, etc., you have that desire to want to move through it. Whereas most people, if they're not clear on what they're working towards or where they're going or why they're doing it, there has to be feeling involved. If you're not clear on why you're doing something, it's going to be very easy for you to let self-sabotage take over and or lose interest altogether in the whole process. Okay. And then if you're one of those people who is using manifestation as a band-aid solution and kind of just like half-ass asking for things and not really committing to wanting them or committing to getting clear on why you want them or committing to uncovering what's going on, you end up setting, as Abraham Hicks calls it, multiple rockets of desire, but not really strong enough to actually get anywhere. It's like you think you want to go from here to the moon, but you're not really clear on why you're going to the moon. So you end up just kind of orbiting in space. You know what I mean? And so those people will say, manifestation does not work for me. I can't get anything to manifest. But it's like, well, no, we're all manifesting all the time. But if you're trying to deliberately call in something like a raise or, a partner or a car or whatever, you need to do the work. You can't just ask the universe to bring you something and then not be willing to look at why you don't have it and the beliefs that are keeping you where you are. Because, sorry, spoiler alert, if you were already a vibrational match for the thing, you would already have the thing and you wouldn't be wanting it. Okay. So we need to be doing this digging. So first you want to identify what it is you're going after. What is the goal? What is the manifestation? What are you working towards? Okay. So you want to state that. You want to get very clear on what you're working towards. And then ask yourself, your subconscious mind, the universe, your higher self, your own mind, however you want to do it. I just write out on a piece of paper, what are my limiting beliefs? What is it in me that says I can't have this? Okay. So, just list out everything that comes up. Some of it's going to be silly. Some of it's going to be, eye-opening. Some of it you're going to go, if you've been doing this work a little while, like if you've been manifesting a while, if you've been doing limiting belief work a while, if you've been doing all the things, you're going to go, wow, I thought we already dealt with this, but okay, it's still obviously here because it's coming up, right? And when you're doing this exercise, anything that comes to mind is exactly a limiting belief. Like your willingness to be open to it is going to bring forth all the limiting beliefs that are keeping you where you are. Okay. So we've stated what we're working towards. We've stated what our limiting beliefs are. And now you're going to say out loud on paper or whatever, just set the intention. There's no really right or wrong way to do it because everything is communicated vibrationally anyway. But basically you want to open up to a willingness to see everything differently and be open to changing your mind. And then you're going to go through your list of limiting beliefs and go, okay, well, is each of these ultimately true? Okay. And chances are 99% to 101% of them are going to be, no, they're not. This is not true. This is some story that I've told myself. Okay. So once you've done that and you've questioned the belief. So now already the belief is losing steam because you're questioning it. As soon as you question a limiting belief, it's no longer a belief anymore, right? Because you've questioned it. Truths, if something is true, you're not going to question, like the sky is blue. Nobody's going to convince me the sky is not blue, right? Well, right now it's very gray and rainy, but the sky is blue, right? So that is not only a belief, but it's a truth. Generally, our limiting beliefs are just beliefs. They are not true at all. And they've been passed down from family members and teachers and friends and society and whatever, well-meaning, but limiting just the same, right? So then now, okay, none of these are true. So now, what would you rather believe? How would you rather see it? You're saying I'm open to seeing it differently. How would you rather see it? Right? So let's go through some of these limiting beliefs that came up in the poll that I took. So one of them is feeling truly and honestly capable of creating the life I'm dreaming of. Right? Like if you resonate with that, if that is something that you struggle with, I would love if you would let me know in the comments. You can drop an emoji, or if you're watching on a replay, I would love to know. Just, a little simple me is fine. Let me know. Is that something that you struggle with? Feeling truly and honestly capable of creating the life that you dream of, right? Now, is it ultimately true that you're not capable of creating the dream life? No, absolutely not. Because the way that it works is that the universe does not ever dangle a carrot in front of our face that we're not capable of chasing. Okay. So if you have a desire to create massive impact, if you have a desire to go out and do, whatever your dream life looks for you, which is going to look different than mine and different from anybody else's. And just because it looks different doesn't mean that it's not worthy of it being a dream, right? Other people have different ideas of what that looks like. And another fun fact is, as you expand into these new versions of your dream life, whatever your dream life is will expand, right? I think it was Mel Robbins that said, we will never reach our full potential because as we expand, in an attempt to reach our potential expands. So you'll never max out. You will never get to the point where you have all the answers and know all the things and are the best at what you do. I mean, you might be the best at what you do, but even still, there's always going to be something else to learn, something else to master, something else to create from what you have. Okay. So all that to say, if you are dreaming of a particular outcome for your life, please know and trust and believe that that is meant for you, because that's how it works. You would not be given a dream or an idea or a desire if it was not possible for you in some capacity. And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole right now, but if we're talking about true, the different universal dimensions and all of this, I don't know that much about it. I haven't really gone this far down this rabbit hole myself, but I do know and I do believe that if you desire something, on some level, you already have it. Now, energetically, the second you ask for something, it starts to manifest in your favor, and your only job is just to get out of the way. And that's why this limiting belief work is so important, because you need to identify what it is clogging up the hose, right? So you can get it out of the way so that the good can flow through. to you. Okay. So are you ultimately not capable of handling your dream life? No. No, that's not true. I mean, yes, of course you're capable, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't mean to, I think I asked the question funny. Yes, you are totally capable of living your dream life. And yes, obviously, your dream life, especially in this context, is going to be some other level of yourself. Could you handle it right now? Probably not, right? That's why there's a time lag in what you're manifesting, right? Everyone is all impatient about their manifestations coming to them. But let's be real. If I was handed tomorrow, if I woke up tomorrow to a 7-8 figure, business with all these team members, and I was, I had exactly what I've been envisioning for my life. If I woke up with that tomorrow, I would be very overwhelmed. I would definitely sabotage it, unintentionally, because I'm not ready. That's the whole process, right? The work and all of what we're doing inside of Alignment You and all of what you should be doing along your journey is just getting ready to be ready to receive the thing. And the getting ready to be ready very much involves identifying, dissolving, and transmuting the limiting beliefs that you have, so that you can stop hitting that upper limit, so that you can stop hitting that glass ceiling, you can stop sabotaging yourself, and you can move through it and become the version of you who already has what it is, right? So like I was saying, if you're handed what you want tomorrow, would you be able to handle it? Probably not. That's why you need to slowly and incrementally up-level the person that you are to align to the thing, right? The only reason you don't have the thing now is because you're not aligned to it in whatever way. Either your belief system is not there, your energy is not there, your skill set is not there, who knows what it is. But there are shifts that are going to be required for you to move up the levels of consciousness, the levels of vibration, so that you can become a match to what it is that you want, right? So if we're thinking about it in terms of radio frequency, this is a really good way to look at it. And some of you may not be familiar with this particular analogy, so I'm going to go ahead and go into it. So radio frequencies are something that we can all kind of understand, right? If you're trying to tune into, Rock 101, you're not going to dial the thing to Jack FM 96.9 and expect to get 101 Rock FM, right? Like, it's just not going to happen. So we're all operating on different frequencies, okay? So our dream life, whatever that looks like for you, is absolutely a higher frequency vibration than you currently are exhibiting, right? And I know that only because if you were vibrating at the same frequency of it, you would already have it and you would not be here listening to me talk about it. So let's say that the high frequency desires are at 101.1, okay? But if you're still operating at 96.9, you're not going to be able to tune into what's at 101.1. Right? You have to be tuned into that channel to be able to receive the messages and to receive the manifestations. So you need to raise your radio frequency, right? That's the work. You got to get from 96.9 to 101.1. But most of us are operating at 96.9 or below. We're even operating, way down here at 88.2 or whatever, right? Or 70. I don't even know what the channels are anymore. It doesn't matter. And I'm totally using West Coast, Vancouver radio stations as an example, but you need to tune to it, right? So obviously you are truly incapable of creating the dream life that you want. So it would be very good for you to then look at, okay, what are my limiting beliefs that say that I'm not capable? Okay, chances are they're all total bullshit. None of it is true. And it's all just stories either you've told yourself or somebody else has fed to you, or you've heard kind of in the peripheral and it's become something that you believe. Okay. So identify what's going on. Identify the limiting beliefs. Are they ultimately true? No. What would I rather believe? And then you want to list out all the things that not only would you rather believe, but that empower you to know that you totally are capable. Maybe not right this second, but that's not your job to have it all figured out right this second. Your job is just to do the next right thing that gets you in the direction of your dream life, right? And then from there, you want to ask yourself, okay, how does me living my dream life, whatever that is, how does that serve me? Okay, well, obviously, it means that I'm fulfilled, right? Anybody's dream life, I imagine, would have some degree of fulfillment, right? Feeling fulfilled in what you do for a living, in how you're living your life, in how you earn your income, in how you're providing for your family, for yourself, and all those things, right? And you can go way, way, way in depth with that. And then you want to ask yourself, how does having this dream life or whatever it is that I want, how does it serve the others? How does it serve my family? How does it serve my clients or my mentors or potential mentors or anybody else out in the ether, right? And then how does me living my dream life serve the world, right? And if you look at it, any limiting belief, any upper limit that you're hitting, once you identify that it's limiting beliefs only keeping you stuck and it's this invisible glass ceiling that you're perpetuating yourself by believing in these limiting beliefs, once you realize that that's all bullshit and that you having what you desire actually does not only serve you, but others and the whole world, you can look at it from a bird's eye perspective and realize, wow, it's not even about me, right? It's about the ripple effect. The ripple effect is real. Okay. You living your ideal life and being fulfilled and doing what you love allows you to show up as the best version of yourself in all areas of your life, right? You show up as a better wife, as a better mom, as a better friend, as a better daughter, right? As a better sister, as a better member of society. You are, if you've got, your dream life obviously would include some excess level of income, right? So now you've got savings. You can contribute to charities. You can sponsor Christmas hampers. You can, once in a while, my husband and I will go and get coffee shop gift cards and hand them out to people who look like they could use a nice hot meal or a coffee or whatever. And then you can invest in mentors, right? Who are then also able to live fulfilled and up level themselves because now they have additional income. They can invest in a mentor and they can go out and share with the world, right? And then your family benefits from having a more aligned version of whoever you are to them, right? Whatever relationships we're talking about. And you can go out, even others being small business owners in your community. I'll be very honest with you. I never used to care really about supporting small businesses. I was about getting the best price because I used to be very asleep and very negative. And it's hard for me to believe that now, but that's what it was. But now being a business owner myself, it's very important to me that I support other local businesses and other small businesses. So yes, I'm going to go out of my way now to spend money at small businesses. But of course, those usually come with higher price tags, right? Because they don't have the buying power that the grocers have and that the big box stores have. But that benefits them. That allows them to care for their families better. And that makes them more fulfilled because now they're being supported doing what they love to do and so on, right? And now each person that's affected positively by you living your dream life and having whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, whatever it is, whether it's a partner, a job, a increase in pay, whatever it is, by you living in that fulfillment and living in that dream scenario and affecting positively all these people around you, who are then also not only inspired to do the same, but are able to do the same because of the energy that you've given off, because the light always overtakes the dark and the positive always prevails and it ripples out. And now, so think about that. Each person you have touched with your light now is going to go out and touch people with their light. And I don't know, this statistic was told to me. I don't know how accurate this is, but I feel like it's fairly, it makes me feel good, at least. Let's just say that. And what you believe is true is actually what happens, right? So it really doesn't matter whether it's actually true or not. But it was told to me once that the average person will go out and affect 1,000 people in their life with the ripple effect. Now, if each of those 1,000 people is going out and ripple affecting, imagine what a beautiful place we can create, right? So I encourage all of you to really go for what it is that you want, go for that dream life, do everything you can to manifest it, do everything you can to identify what's in the way of that becoming the truth for you so that you can ripple out to greater than 1,000. And those who, let's say it's 1 million over the course of your lifetime, especially if you're on a platform like social media where you can talk to hundreds of thousands of people at one time, right? I'm not there yet, but anyway, you know what I mean? And just allow that to sink in for a second, right? Like no matter what it is that you're going after, you having that thing benefits not only you, but everyone around you, everyone you come into contact with, everyone you end up touching with your light ends up being able to share their light more exponentially as well. So it's the ripple effect. It's not even about you. So that's why I always say to my clients to dial it all the way up and look at it and realize that it's not about you. It's about the ripple effect. And no bad can come from, now, I should put a caveat here. Obviously, anybody who's attracted to me, I do ask the universe consistently to align me with those who are ready for the messages, who are, ready to shine their light, who are stepping up in great ways, right? So I'm very confident to say that none of you watching this, either now or in the future, are going to be somebody who has anything bad happen as a result of following your purpose and your passion and your light, right? That's not how it works. If you're following those things and you're aligning more and more and more every single day to the you that you're supposed to be, that you came here to be, that you've forgotten along the way and that we're coming back to remember, nothing bad can ever happen. I've never heard anybody say, and I don't know if it's in The Big Leap or it's in a different book, but I read recently too. I have never had anybody report anything bad happening from them following their intuition and following their heart and doing what it is that they really love to do, right? So this next limiting belief really is the same, not capable of accomplishing my dreams, right? Even if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle figured out right now, that doesn't mean that you won't eventually. Like, for example, everybody thinks that they need to have a website up and running for their business to be successful. I didn't have one for the first, I don't even know, 2 years of my business. And then I finally did get around to looking to hire somebody. And then I realized, well, I better just do it myself because I don't even know how I want this to look. And it was very overwhelming at first. But my husband kept saying, just, take away at it a little bit at a time, learn as you go. You'll be so thankful at the end of it when you can very easily go in and tweak something. You don't have to call 3 people to make a change on your website or whatever. And he was very right, but it was very daunting at first. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know if I'm capable. Of course you're capable. You just need to find the right resources and the right help. And further to that, as you get closer and closer to your zone of genius, and you, in effect, as you get closer and closer to your zone of genius, you're also going to be having deeper fulfillment, more income. Like, that's how it works. Life is about expansion. This is not always about money, but what I want you to understand is life is about expansion. Life is about experiences. Life is about enjoyment, right? And we also live in a material world where things require us to pay money for them, right? So one of the many things that starts to happen as you step into your zone of genius and you live from that point of fulfillment and who you really are, you become fully aligned with who you are and what you're here to do, and you're doing the things, you will be rewarded by the law of reciprocity. The universe will bestow upon you more abundance than you could imagine. It's literally just a side effect of what happens. So you don't need to go out and intentionally manifest certain things and more money and this and that, whatever. Those things come when you just align to who you really are, right? And that's living partially about living in your zone of genius, right? That's all a part of who you really are, aligning to the truth of who you are. And that's what we're doing inside of Alignment You, right? It's not about, yes, the ladies are constantly talking about manifesting money, this and savings, that, and, new cars and big checks and opportunities and all these things. Those are all fine and good. It's very exciting and everything. But what the ladies inside Alignment You have come to realize is the manifestation part is literally just the cherry on top of the already amazing icing on top of the amazing cake. That's not even the best part. The best part is how amazing you feel, how happy you are, how peaceful you are, how centered you are. I had one of my, actually America, who's on right now, she had 4 people over the span of 2 or 3 days all say to her, like, what is going on? You just seem so much happier and more peaceful and calm. And they were just like doting all over her, just how amazing that her whole like vibe and aura was. Right. And the best part of it is by the time you get to that part where other people are recognizing it, you don't even need the validation anymore because you're already just so certain in who you are and aligned to what's going on, and you just it's like pure magic is really all I can say. It's just pure magic. It becomes so much more. Oh, it was 5 people. Another friend last night said the same thing to her. It just becomes, I can only explain it as something that you never thought that you would experience, me included. Like, I totally went into this whole manifestation journey, totally wanting the house, the money, the car, right? Like, that's all I was interested in. And as I dove in deeper and deeper and deeper, I kept being told you have to do the inner work. And I kept avoiding it, saying, no, I don't think so. I think I can just manifest or whatever. And although, yeah, you can manifest things here and there and short-term wins and windfalls and all this stuff, that's all fine and good. But if you want to have real, sustained, not only success, but fulfillment, enjoyment, happiness, you have to do the work, and you have to be willing to uncover the limiting beliefs keeping you where you are and or preventing you from going where you want to go, and identifying the glass ceilings and identifying your own upper limiting behaviors. Okay. So upper limiting behaviors is something we're going to talk about very in depth when we're in the discussion group for the Big Leap. Okay. This book, even if you're not going to do the book club, please get it and read it. It is incredible, incredible, incredible. There is a few pseudo journaling prompts in here, but I'm going to be giving extra in the program. And then actually at the end, we're also going to do a surprise bonus vision board party after we finish the book and aware of what our zone of genius is, and we're ready to take that big leap. Okay. It's going to be so good. And I hope you guys come and join us. So please, by the way, if you're interested in that, please DM me the words, the big leap, DM me, and I will make sure you get the link to register. Okay. But the upper limiting behaviors are also known as self-sabotaging behaviors. Okay. And we're all guilty of it. So when we are feeling, not capable of accomplishing our dreams, what's going to happen is we're going to start exhibiting upper limit behaviors that prevent us from being able to. Okay. So here's an example. When I was trying to finally get some clients into my business, like, it's one thing to say you have a business, but it's another thing to actually have paying clients, right? So up until then, I don't know what you would really call it, but anyway, I was building a business and I was trying to call in the clients and I was trying to do all the things. But what ended up happening was my upper limiting behaviors, my self-sabotaging behaviors were in part and hugely due to my refusal to do any inner work, to identify any limiting beliefs. Like, I was not interested in looking for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't feel like I needed to. All of my birth chart, and now later I learned in my human design and all the things, like my astrology, my horoscope, everything says, you're destined for great wealth. You're supposed to be a spiritual healer, da, 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 da. So I figured, well, what's the point? What's the point in slowing down the quote unquote momentum I thought I was making by doing the inner work? Like, what's the point? If I'm already destined for all this, then I can just wait for it to show up, and I'm just going to keep doing more things. Okay. So my upper limiting behaviors, my self-sabotaging behaviors was twofold. It was refusing to do the inner work, and it was being stuck in not only masculine energy of doing, but like wounded masculine energy. Like, I felt like I needed to do all the things all the time, to the point where I was spending hours and hours and hours and hours doing things that weren't even really creating any momentum. I was just busy on my computer thinking that I was creating some kind of difference or something, but I wasn't. Like, in hindsight, all I would have needed to do, if I had been more aligned with my feminine energy at the time, would have been to go live consistently, share what I know as authentically as possible, and draw the right clients to me. Right. But that's not what I was doing. And I was going and I was absorbing all the information from all the places that I thought I needed it, because I was not confident in my own ability. So on top of all of those things, I'm absorbing the information, I'm watching the courses, I'm reading the books, I'm doing, I thought I was doing the things, but ultimately I still was not implementing what I was learning. And one of my upper limiting behaviors was letting other people talk my dream down, taking time away to do what I thought I wanted to do. So for example, one thing that I used to do is I would have planned to go live in my group, and then my husband would say, hey, let's go do whatever. And at first I would just I would just quietly reschedule my live and I would go do whatever else. And then I would start to, at least as time went on, I would at least say, hey, I have this live scheduled. And he would kind of talk me out of doing it. And let's go do this instead. Like, it's sunny right now, la, 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 whatever. And I would let him talk me out of it. Now, I want to be very, very clear. That was me projecting my feelings of my inability to do it onto him, that were being mirrored back to me in the invitation to not go live. Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense? So then I finally realized, wait a minute, I had something scheduled. I don't know if it was like a 5-day thing or if it was just like my regular live in the week or whatever, but I remember very distinctly, there was one day I had scheduled to go live and he said, let's go do whatever. And I said, no, I've got this video that I have to do at whatever time. And he was like, well, you don't even have clients yet. Like, it's a waste of time, whatever. And I said, yeah, but you know what? The version of me who already has the clients would absolutely not reschedule this last minute. So I'm going to show up. And then if it's still, sunny or whatever, when I'm done, then we'll go do whatever. And so I started to break through that glass ceiling of showing up and being seen and whatever. But a more recent example of upper limiting behaviors that I exhibited was, I kept getting the nudge to post videos on YouTube. And because I know how YouTube works, I knew that, or I had a feeling that as soon as I started posting videos on YouTube, I was going to become much more visible. And then I thought, oh my God, this is all unconscious, right? Oh my God, I don't know if I want to be that visible. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. So I would stall and I would not post my video, and then I would not record the video at all. And then I would not publish them regularly. And so then I realized, okay, what are you doing? Like, you're intentionally making everything so much more difficult for yourself, which is why, by the way, that's how this Aligned to the Truth Tuesday series was born. Was I realized that if I want to be consistently putting up video content and putting out podcast episodes and interacting in my group live with everybody who is in the private group and all the things, I needed to make it as easy as possible for me to stick to it, which is why I record it once live here with you guys in the Facebook group. I post the replay on YouTube for anybody watching there. And I also repurpose the episodes to a podcast episode, because also not everybody wants to watch a video. Not everybody wants to listen to a podcast, and not everybody is on YouTube. So I figured that I'm hitting all the bases that I really feel like I want to cover. These are the tactics that I want to use to spread the message. And this is just the best way that works for me. Right. And then you guys being here in the Facebook group obviously get the benefit of being able to comment, interact with me while I'm still live. So identifying those upper limiting behaviors is really, really important, because you need to understand and recognize when you are unintentionally sabotaging your own success, right? So for example, if you really want to leave your job for let's say you've got either a dream of starting a business, or you've already got maybe a network marketing business and you want to go full time with that and you want to leave your job. Well, as long as you are not in the full belief that you're going to be successful, you're not going to be able to leave your job. And for a lot of people, they think they want to make so much money before they leave their job. But then they're scared to leave their job because they're scared of the security that it has and they're going to lose. So they intentionally self-sabotage themselves by not getting the recruits or not getting the sales or not showing up consistently all of a sudden for their businesses, because unconsciously you're like, oh my God, if I show up consistently, I'm going to get the sales and then I'm going to have to leave my job, but I like the security of the paycheck. So now I'm freaking out a little bit. So I'm not really sure what to do. So I'm just going to upper limit myself. I'm going to upper limit myself, and I'm going to dodge my responsibilities. I'm going to show up a little less consistently so that I'm not getting consistent sales, so that I'm not in the position to leave my job, even though I feel like I want to leave my job. Do you see what I mean? So, because we all know, in any kind of business, consistency is key. In anything, consistency is key, especially in the inner work, right? Consistently sitting down and identifying what your limiting beliefs are and what's keeping you stuck is absolutely going to be crucial, right? You have to be consistently doing the work. And a couple of other limiting beliefs were not feeling like you're enough. Worrying about how others will judge you for your success. That's huge. Like I said, not enough time in the day, fear of failure. And the fear of failure, I actually want to touch on this just for 1 second, because I saw an interesting I think it was a meme or something that said, you're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of other people seeing you fail, but it's none of your business what other people think of you. You know what I mean? Like, as long as, and let's just be real for a second, as long as you haven't given up, you haven't failed, right? Like, I have started several businesses that, okay, yeah, on one hand, it does kind of look like they failed, but ultimately they were stepping stones to get me where I am, right? Or my husband, for example, he has had many different jobs. He's tried many different trades. He's worked for many different people, mostly himself, but many different people as well. And some people would look and say, well, he failed at all those things. It's like, well, no, he went in, he mastered the skills, he got bored, realized it wasn't for him, took those skills and moved on. But it's funny because now in hindsight too, he has all the skills needed, at least experience with all the skills needed to, say, build a dream house, right? Or at least what's the word I'm looking for? Project manage building a house. Like, he has enough knowledge now. He would know who to find to build what, how long it should take, all of those things, right? Everything is always working out for you, and you only ever fail if you're giving up. Okay. So, but fear of failure, like what's, something worth exploring there is, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? If you try something and you fail, you're probably just going to be exactly where you are right now. Right? So like, that's not that big of a deal. You just try again. But if you never try, you'll never know. And then you're always going to be constantly, what if? And then that's going to eat away at you as well. So you might as well just try something and see what happens. Right? And then how others will judge me for my success, right? That's huge. That's huge. And that's actually something that's discussed in The Big Leap. Is one of the fundamental fears we have is leaving people behind. Leaving people behind that we grew up with our family. Actually, interestingly enough, I'll share really quickly, and then I'm going to read through some of these comments and questions. I recently had a very eye-opening realization that I very much have that upper limiting quote unquote issue of worrying about leaving people behind as I become more successful. Like, who am I? I grew up regular high school, regular elementary school. I went to a regular, college. Like, I had regular friends with regular parents, and, like, who am I? Like, I didn't grow up in like an affluent part of town. Like, who am I to all of a sudden come into all this wealth and all this success and be, like, well known for what I do? Like, who am I? And what are the people in school going to, like, what is so-and-so going to say when she sees that I'm now doing whatever? Right? So it's like, you want to be seen, but you're afraid to be looked at. And it's like, well, you can't have both. Right? But anyway, I also had a really relevant realization the other day that my husband helped me with, actually, that I not only have a fear of potentially outshining my sister, but that I actually hold a lot of resentment towards my mom and my sister for having me kind of dull my shine as I was growing up, because my sister needed so much extra attention and extra help and extra this and extra that. So I, like, for example, one thing, and this is kind of a silly example, but it always stands out in my mind. We were doing swimming lessons together. We used to live in a community, that we had a rec center, that's totally not relevant to the story, but we had a rec center just across the street, and we used to do swimming lessons there together. And she kept failing this one level. Like, she could not, I think it was like butterfly stroke or something. It doesn't matter. She couldn't get it, and she kept failing. And I was now 2 levels ahead of her, because I kept going. Every time she would re-register for the levels, I would register for the next thing. And for one or two of them, I got to go in like a split swimming lesson class with her. So we were in the same class together. But then finally my mom was like, okay, look, she's still not passing. I'm just going to hold you back a couple of levels until she catches up to you. And at the time I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. Whatever. But now I realize that's a classic don't outshine your sister operating system. You know what I mean? So it's like that, those kinds of things that our parents, and this is another great example of how our parents are just doing what they feel is best with the information that they have right at the time. But ultimately that was not detrimental to my development, because now that I've uncovered it, I can work through it. But it is definitely something that I struggle with, because now I'm going to outshine my sister. And it's something that I've had to come to terms with. Like, my sister is never going to show up in the world the way that I am. It's just not going to happen. And there's no way that I can go about doing what I have to do without outshining her. Like, there's just no way that I can do that. But I would hope at this point, like what I'm choosing to believe instead is that at this point in our lives, being adults, 31 and 33 years old, that she will just be happy for me and support what I'm doing. And my parents will be proud of me and happy. And they, hopefully, I hope nobody falls into the poor me, scenario. But anyway, I just wanted to share that is a very common one, how others will judge me. And especially our families, right? Because our families, like, who are you to have all this success? Like my dad, for example, he's one of 5 kids. His mom was a single woman for quite some time, like taking care of 5 kids on welfare, like no money. My dad my mom told me that my dad told her early on when they were dating that they had so little money that when he did come across some money for something, he would go to the store and get himself like bread and peanut butter so that he could have something different to eat in the house. Cause otherwise they were eating like noodles and pasta and like whatever was like cheap, right? Cause they were on welfare. So then I have, unconscious things going on, like, well, who am I? Who am I to go and be successful and make all this money and do all these things when I only have 1 kid, and my life is really great. And so who am I to go and make it even better? Like, what do I need that for? You know what I mean? So it's just like these limiting beliefs they don't make sense, but they're very valid, right? So it's very much important to look at these things and question them and understand that they're not the ultimate truth. They're just something we've been thinking for a long time and now believe to be true, right? Anyway, okay, I'm going to go back and read some of these comments because I've been totally ignoring them. I'm so sorry. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments now and I will get to them. Let's see here. I think the affirmations also make it easier to find and confront the limiting beliefs involved, because if you've been reinforcing an affirmation that opposes a limiting belief, the neural pathways are getting stronger and sooner or later you will consciously or subconsciously start to question the belief. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. I mean, by definition, even if at some point you're going to realize, okay, well, wait a minute, I've been affirming this for some time now and it still is not coming to fruition. Like, what parts of me don't agree with this affirmation? Like, where is this out of alignment with my belief system? And how can I combat that? Right. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, so somebody here said, this is my goal, to make an impact with as many as I can. See, so if your goal is to make an impact with as many as you can, you need to really tune into the idea that it's not about you. It's about the mission you're on, right? So that's one thing that really helped me overcome my fear of being seen on like YouTube. And because I realized I'm very comfortable and safe, like in this safe little space on Facebook, my little corner of the internet. But going off into the big bad world of YouTube kind of freaks me out because it's a second biggest search engine behind Google on the internet. So I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy, right? And I know that I've heard many people say that they enjoy my videos. They like the way that it's kind of like just like we're having coffee together, right? Which is this is what I'm like, and it kind of freaks me out a little bit to have people from wherever, being able to come in and see me and like or dislike what I have to say and all those things. And then I just realized it's not about you. You know what I mean? It's not about you. It's about empowering the people who are ready to learn that they have a choice in how their life unfolds and that they actually can deliberately create whatever they want. Like, it's not about you. It's about that. It's about empowerment. So you need to get out of your own way, get over your damn self and make it happen. America said, I had this exact conversation last night with a friend, showing appreciation like to a sales clerk in a store, making a point of highlighting an employee who helped you, etc. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like if you go to a store and you're like high vibes, high consciousness, you're happy, you're empowered, you feel good, you're fulfilled, everything's good. You are not only much more likely to rub off positively on the people around you, but you're also more likely to spend an extra second to go out of your way to make somebody else's day. right? And then they are more likely to go out of their way to help somebody, especially like in customer service, for example, because customer service, anybody who's done it knows that is a tough job. Okay. I worked many customer service jobs. It is tough because you have all kinds of people coming from all walks of life, sprinkling their shit all over you all the time. They, a lot of people are very asleep to the fact that they have more control over what they experience than they know, right? And so if you can spread that happiness and the joy to somebody in customer service, and then they turn around and sprinkle it to other people that they're going to encounter that day, imagine the positive impact you could have in just a simple trip to the grocery store or something, right? That's very, very, very important. America, she's talking about The Big Leap. The book is amazing. I've read it before and looking forward to doing the book club. So many great aha moments. Yeah, when I read it the first time, it was absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait to read it again in a discussion setting because it will be literally life-changing. When we did The Greatest Secret, America was part of that group as well because she's in Alignment U. When we did The Greatest Secret, the girls, everybody attending had breakthroughs, including me and Teresa, who were guiding the conversation. I had breakthroughs while we were talking. I had breakthroughs between sessions. It was just like light bulbs going off left, right, and center. It was crazy. And I feel like that experience of just going over those 7 days discussing the 12 chapters plus the conclusion and all that of The Greatest Secret really did catapult all of us in such a beautiful direction. And I cannot wait to do it again with The Big Leap. So please, if you guys are in a position right now, especially if you've been thinking about joining Alignment U, but it's not financially possible right now, come and do the book clubs with us. I'm telling you, it is a transformative, life-changing experience that you will not get anywhere else. I don't know any other way to say it. I would love to have you. It would be so incredible. There's a question here. I keep limiting myself by letting myself be too tired to work out and too interrupted to write regularly, working on stopping that. Yeah, see? So by definition of this, The Big Leap, you are upper limiting yourself. You are not allowing yourself to be as the tiredness is your self-sabotage, right? And your too interrupted is your self-sabotage, right? Because you're afraid of what, like subconsciously, this is all going on underneath the surface, right? But subconsciously, you are concerned that, for some reason you don't feel worthy of having a fit physique and being healthier. You're worried you're going to be judged. Maybe you're worried about getting too much attention once you've lost weight or whatever the situation is. I don't even know who's asking the question, so I don't know what the actual scenario is, but, and the too interrupted to write regularly, right? Like you're prioritizing other things above your own success because you are probably afraid of your own success, or you are not worthy of the success, or whatever it is. So those things are all worth exploring, right? Jamie says, right, when you get off course, you correct. Life is not perfect. Consistency is key because it becomes your foundation. Yes, exactly, right? And I just posted yesterday in the group, actually, if you've been poking around at all, a little practice you guys can use that actually relates more to this previous question about limiting yourself and being too tired to work out or too interrupted or whatever. And I put it in quotations because if it was really a priority for you, you would make it happen, right? So ultimately it's not enough. It's not high enough on your priority list, or your fear of failure or fear of whatever is, you're letting it overcome you, right? So when you're trying to decide, should I work out? I'm really tired. I don't know. Should I do it? Ask yourself, in this moment, do I want to align to the previous version of myself who is too tired to work out? Or do I want to align myself to the version of me who already has the physique and the health and the whatever flexibility, which is one of the things I'm working on, that I do desire, right? Is this good for future me? It's definitely good for current me, right? Working out is definitely good for current me for many reasons. And working out is definitely good for future me. So really, I should get out of my own way and do that. You know what I mean? And it's just a really great way to ask yourself, am I going to choose the path of old me or new me? Old or new? Old or new? Always ask yourself, old or new? And if anybody wants to see that post, comment below, maybe just write post, and I'll tag you in the post so you can see it. Yeah, Jamie says failure is only data. That's so true, right? It's just data. It's just feedback. It's just letting you know where you need to course correct, where you need to adjust, where you need to reevaluate, all of those things. A really good example of that. So we're going to go long, but whatever. One of the things that happened along my journey to where I am now is January 2020. My husband gave me an ultimatum. Basically, I was spending way too much time in the wounded masculine. I was spending way too much time on my business. It wasn't going anywhere. I still had really no paying client. I mean, I had a small 6-week little program that I way undervalued and undercharged for. It was just ridiculous. Great feedback and everything, but it was not good. Anyway, so he gave me an ultimatum. He said, look, like, you're spending all this time on your business. You're not spending any time with us. Like, what good is all of this if you don't have a family at the end of it, right? And I thought, okay, well, you're right. So he basically said, like, look, you gotta choose here. Like, what are you going to do? And I said to him, look, okay, you know what? This is my calling. I absolutely cannot not do this. Like, I know in the depths of my soul that even though something is not working, this is exactly where I need to be. And this is definitely the path I need to go down. But I'm also willing to concede that, yes, I am going about it the wrong way, obviously, because I've been doing this for a while and it's still not working. So I'm going to, instead of accepting failure and defeat, I'm going to take a break, reevaluate, think about how I want to go forward, what's really important to me, how can I prioritize better, what's going on. And then from there, that's when everything started to unfold. And I was told and I posted this in a post the other day, I was told in a oracle card reading from a friend of mine that my guide said, like, look, stop everything. You have everything you need. You just need to do the shadow work now. You need to buckle down and do the inner work. You need to uncover the limiting, like, you need to do the things that you're not doing, basically, right? And I thought, okay, well, here we go. And that's where things started to shift for me. When I finally surrendered to the fact that even me, even I cannot avoid the inner work. And it is absolutely a necessary component of the whole process. So I took the opportunity to receive the feedback from the universe, receive the feedback from my husband, receive the feedback from my so far, quote unquote, failing business. I never saw it that way, by the way. I never saw it as a failing business. I just saw it as learning curves. And even all the launches that I did, every time I learned something, I'm still learning. You'll never master it, right? And that's okay. It's not about mastering. It's about expanding and experiencing and enjoying, right? Somebody says here, thing is, you don't have to leave people behind unless they're limiting you and or choose to leave you. Yeah, no. And that's just it. The idea that we're going to leave people behind with our success is so silly, right? Because the people, and thank you for saying this, whoever made this point, thank you for this, because it's so valid. The people who are meant to be in your life, in your circle, are going to be there no matter what. You know what I mean? And on one hand, it's kind of nice to be able to take the people that were once just regular people with you. Now you're, not just a regular person in their eyes anymore, but take them with you because you know that they genuinely do care about you. You know what I mean? And they were, your friend before you were successful, and they're your friend now. And I don't mean to put any kind of limiting belief in your head that you have to now be careful about who your friends are and trust their authenticity or whatever, because you absolutely can call in a soul tribe that totally is genuine and authentic and amazing, like I have. It's totally possible. But you don't necessarily need to leave people behind. And the people who are from your past or in your family, even, who are going to say nasty comments or, talk down to you or belittle or just genuinely not be supportive, they're just not aligned with where you're going anymore. Their soul contract and yours has expired. They've lived their time in your life and it's over now. And you know what? That just leaves space for more, better aligned, higher vibe, bigger vibe, higher consciousness, friendships and relationships, right? Like it's a good thing. So you don't have to worry about leaving people behind, because they will either elevate with you or some will vibrate out, but they're not meant to go with you where you're going next anyway. So it's not like you're losing anything in that sense. Do you know what I mean? I hope that helps, but you're right. You don't have to leave anybody behind unless they're limiting you and or you choose to leave them. Otherwise, they're just the same people in your journey as they always have been, right? Like nothing has to change. It's funny when you think about celebrities and people who are famous and, mentors like Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins and, Amanda Francis and, whoever else, right? They're just regular people who have broken through their glass ceilings and are now doing what they love to do on a grand scale, right? It's funny because my husband and I had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about different mentors and this and that and whatever. And he's like, well, look at what Tony Robbins is doing, and maybe you should consider what this person is doing. And I was like, babe, they're not doing anything different than I'm doing. The only difference is they have just been doing it longer, so they have more followers than I do. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, what we're doing is the same. And as I was saying it, at first I was like, oh, that sounds kind of conceited. But I was like, well, no, but that's the truth. Like they're just regular people following a strategy that they have to promote their business and to share their insights with the world and empower people through their free content and their paid content. And that's exactly what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I was like, the only difference is I've only got like 75 like YouTube subscribers, maybe not even that many, I don't even know. And, almost 700 amazing souls in this group, which I'm so thankful for. And like not even quite 1,500 followers. Like it's not about the numbers. I'm not trying to make it about the numbers. I'm just saying all those people are just regular people too. They've just broken through their glass ceilings. They've gotten very good at identifying their upper limiting behaviors. And they're willing to do things that make them uncomfortable. That's the only thing that's gotten them where they are that maybe some of us here haven't accomplished yet. But what they've accomplished is possible for you too. You just need to do the same things, which is identify your limiting beliefs, call yourself out on your bullshit upper limiting behaviors, aka self-sabotage, and do things that make you uncomfortable, but that light you right up. Like that's important. You need to be doing things that fulfill you and that light you up. That's the beginning and end of it. And somebody said here, your sister is going to show up the way you have because she is by definition not you. Exactly. Like she isn't going to show up. Exactly. That is exactly. And it took me, I actually had that realization not that long ago. And it took me so long to get there. Because at first, right, we don't know what we don't know. You don't even know what limiting beliefs you have because you haven't gone looking for them yet, right? And don't think that because you go looking for your limiting beliefs that all of this shit's going to come up all at once. Only what's ready to come up and be dissolved is going to come up one at a time. And you can even ask the universe, look, I'm ready to work through whatever is holding me back. Please show me with ease and grace, always with ease and grace, each of my limiting beliefs one by one so that I can dissolve and transmute them into more empowering beliefs and things that light me up, right? Ask the universe to help you. The universe is your friend. It's a co-creative dance. And too many of us are not utilizing our other half, our partner, So ask the universe to help you shed light on the darker parts of yourself that you need to work through so that you can reach those better levels of success. Break through the limiting beliefs, break through the glass ceilings, call yourself out on your upper limiting behaviors. Ask a partner or a spouse or a friend to do it too would be really helpful. Ask somebody to call you out and say, you're upper limiting yourself, right? And know that anything that you're going for is absolutely possible for you. And you will have it if you can do the things necessary, which is mainly removing all the shit in the way, getting ready to be ready to receive the thing. That's your only job. Okay. And I hope this has been super helpful. Excuse me, my eye is so itchy. I hope this has been super helpful. I just wanted to remind you that enrollment for the Watch the Magic Unfold book club is now open. We're reading The Big Leap next, and our discussions actually start next Monday. I cannot wait. We're going to be talking, I don't know if we're doing introduction or chapter 1. I'm going to have to double check with Teresa. I will get back to you. But if you're interested in getting in on that, you want to save a spot, you want to come join us, please DM me The Big Leap, and I will make sure that you get the link to register. And one final reminder, I do send out daily affirmations as well as other manifesting inspiration updates, like reminders that I'm going live inside the Facebook group. If you want to get in on the list, go ahead and add yourself to my phone by sending Tuesday to 310-388-9974. And you will get those texts as early as, I guess, the next one's going out tomorrow morning for the affirmation. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all of your love and support. Thank you so much for being here. Please feel free, if you know anybody that would benefit from the information in this video or in this group, please feel free to share the video, share the group, invite them to join us, give them the phone number for the text messages, have them find me on Instagram at Mindset to Manifest. And I am so grateful for you all. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for so long today. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you hopefully on Monday for our first discussion of the Big Leap. But if not, I'll see you back here on Tuesday for the next installment of Align to the Truth Tuesday. Have a fantastic rest of your day.